Hey guys! Today we're plunging into the very heart of war, a place where love ignites like a fuse and death creeps along mountain trails. I'm talking about the book that is perhaps the most poignant declaration about humanity in conflict. For Whom the Bell Tolls by Ernest Hemingway. Why is this book a classic? Why do we still talk about it? Because it's not just a story about the Spanish Civil War. It's a parable about what happens to the soul when it is allotted exactly 3 days. 3 days to complete the most vital mission, to find the greatest love, and to accept your fate. Hemingway, who experienced this war firsthand, knew how to write about courage without sentimentality and about death without hysteria. He wrote about clean work, pure love, and absolute duty. And that is incredibly compelling. In this video, we won't be listing chapters. We're going to feel the atmosphere, figure out who Robert Jordan is, and discover why you can live an entire lifetime in just 72 hours. It all starts simply and incredibly cinematically. A young American, a university instructor, who, like many idealists of the time, came to Spain to fight for the Republic against the fascists. His name is Robert Jordan, and his job in this war is demolition expert. Right now, he's lying on pine needles high up in the Sierra de Guadarrama Mountains. He's been given a task that seems both ridiculously simple and impossible: to blow up a bridge. This bridge is a crucial element in the upcoming offensive. If the bridge is not destroyed at the exact scheduled hour, the offensive will fail, and thousands of people will die. There are only 3 days until D-Day. Jordan is not a soldier in the classic sense. He is a man of action, a technician. He believes in his work, in the precision of calculations, in the power of dynamite. He is not interested in political rhetoric. He is interested only in the mission. To carry out this task, he must embed himself with a band of guerrilleros who are holed up in these mountains. And this is where things get interesting. I often think about how masterfully Hemingway shows the contrast. On one hand, the surgical precision of military planning, and on the other, the chaotic, animalistic, passionate life of these guerrilleros. The guerrilla camp is led by a man named Pablo. And right here, Hemingway immediately immerses us in the atmosphere. Pablo is not a hero. He is an anti-hero. He was once strong and decisive, but the war broke him. He became a drunk, a coward, a man who cares most about his herd of horses and his own skin. He is the most vivid example of how ideals can decay under the burden of horror and responsibility. Jordan immediately senses that he is the weak link, that Pablo is a threat to the entire operation. But next to Pablo there is Pilar. Now that is power. Pilar is his woman. Strong, robust like the earth, iron-willed, with the face of a gypsy and the soul of a general. She is the real leader of the band, its backbone. She sees through lies and cowardice, and she believes in Jordan and his assignment. Pilar is the embodiment of that unyielding Spain, fighting to the bitter end. And it is here, among these rugged people, smelling of smoke and blood, that Jordan meets her. Maria. Maria is what sets this book apart from any other war novel. She is the symbol of innocence desecrated by war. She endured unspeakable violence from the fascists, leaving her with deep trauma. She is fragile, afraid of loud noises, but at the same time, she carries an incredible light. Her hair is cropped short. It was shaved in captivity. And this hair becomes the symbol of her wound and her rebirth. Jordan and Maria fall in love. But it's not a cute holiday fling. It's a flashfire love. They know their time is limited. They have only 3 nights, maybe 4 days. And they live those hours in a way that people destined for eternity don't know how to live. Their love is the answer to the horror of war. It is proof that, amidst destruction, life and beauty still prevail. Personally, I've always been struck by Hemingway's ability to describe this intimacy with such tenderness and simultaneously fatality. It's as if he's saying, look, this is what we fight for the possibility of this moment, this feeling, even if it lasts only 1 night. While Jordan and Maria are building their small, fragile world, tension is rising in the camp. The main conflict, of course, revolves around Pablo. He doesn't want the bridge blown up. He fears retaliation, fears his family will die. He begins to sabotage. One night, he steals Jordan's detonators and some of the explosives, and then throws them away. This is betrayal in its purest form. Remember I said Hemingway wrote about clean work? Well, the theft of the equipment is a strike against the most important thing Jordan believes in: professionalism and duty. This episode threatens not only Jordan's mission, but also the lives of thousands of soldiers awaiting the signal for the attack. Pilar, seeing Pablo's vileness, effectively takes command. The band splits. Pablo leaves despised, and seemingly the mission is saved. But Jordan has lost some of his gear, and now he must improvise, find alternative solutions. And here Hemingway teaches us a vital lesson. In a critical moment, you must be ready not just to perform your duty, but also to overcome the betrayal that can come from where you least expect it. The plot moves toward the climax. Jordan understands that he most likely will not come out of this operation alive. And this is where the famous phrase that gave the book its title comes into play. Hemingway took it from the sermon of the English poet John Donne. No man is an island entire of itself. Any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. This phrase is the key to understanding Jordan. He is not just fighting for the Republic, he is fighting for all mankind. He understands that his death is not an end, but just a small part of a great sacrifice. He accepts his duty as something inevitable and honorable. He begins to reflect on what it means to be alive. He thinks about Maria, about his parents, about what he managed to do. And he concludes that in these 3 days, lived with incredible intensity, he experienced more than many do in a lifetime. He knew true love, real fear, and an authentic purpose. I believe this internal monologue of Jordan's is the book's high point. It's not whining, it's not panic. It is a cold, courageous analysis of his own existence in the face of the imminent end. The morning of D-Day arrives. Jordan and the guerrilleros prepare for the explosion. Not everything goes as planned. The offensive, which was supposed to distract the enemy forces, is delayed. This means that after the bridge is blown, they will be under attack from superior enemy forces. And it is at this critical moment, when Jordan is almost ready for work, that something unexpected happens. Pablo returns. He returns not as a hero, but as a repentant outcast. He brought other guerrilleros with him who want to help. Pablo, who was a coward, finds the strength to make the right choice at the last moment. He doesn't redeem his betrayal, but he at least helps the cause. This is very Hemingway-esque. Not giving anyone a pure happy ending, but showing that even in the most insignificant person, a spark of duty can awaken. The explosion of the bridge itself is described powerfully and tensely. It is the culmination of all of Jordan's work. He does it cleanly, technically, professionally. The bridge falls. Mission accomplished. Now begins the worst part, the retreat. The guerrilleros try to get away. They are under fire, they are losing people. Pablo, strangely, behaves courageously. Pilar remains solid as a rock. Jordan, Maria, and his small band try to break through. But at this moment tragedy strikes. Jordan's horse is shot, falls, and breaks the demolition expert's leg. And here we come to the moment where Hemingway wrote perhaps the strongest lines of his career. Jordan cannot move. He knows that if he stays, he will be captured and tortured. But he also knows that if he is carried, he will endanger the lives of Maria and everyone else. He makes his final, most difficult decision. He must stay and cover the retreat of his comrades. The most heartbreaking part is his farewell to Maria. He forces her to leave. He promises her that she will be him, that he will remain with her in her soul. It's not tears and hysterics. It's a quiet, fatal, courageous love in the face of the end. Jordan remains lying down. He is conscious, he feels the approach of the enemy. He accepts his last fight. He sights the machine gun, preparing to meet death face to face. We won't know what happens next, but we know he won't break. He fulfilled his duty. He found love. He lived his life to the fullest, and he will not let the enemy pass. Personally, what struck me most about this book was its honesty. Hemingway does not romanticize war. He shows its dirt, cowardice, and betrayal, but at the same time he shows the highest expressions of the human spirit. Sacrifice, professionalism, and of course a love that burns everything in its path. For Whom the Bell Tolls is not about victory or defeat in one battle. It's about the fact that even in the direst times, a person has a choice, and that choice defines their worth. Robert Jordan, having lived just 3 days with Maria, realized the truth. We are all part of one whole. That is why, when we read about Spain in 1937, we understand that the bell tolls not only for those who died in that war. It tolls for each of us. It reminds us that our life is not an eternity, and how we live our 3 days determines who we were. If you want to read a story of duty, honor, and a love that burns everything in its wake, be sure to pick up this book. Believe me, after reading it, you will value every single one of your days. Have you read this book? What impressed you the most? The passion of Maria and Jordan, or the courage of Pilar? Write about it in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next dive into world classics. See you soon.